let's just hop to it. A lot of magic to get to today. This is our second time playing an iteration of this on stream. If it goes well again, I think I might add some variation of this to the website. So this is a 4-color fires list that did well in the first Hoaglandia Open we had that was historic. With the addition of the new set to the format, I've added a Ruinous Ultimatum and an Inspired Ultimatum to our Wish board sideboard package here. And coming from the last time we played, I added a few Agonizing Remorses to the sideboard here. Not primarily to want to Fae of Wishes for, but largely so we can board out some of these sweeper effects in matchups where the sweepers aren't as good. But still 12-card Wish package here in the sideboard. I elected not to put any Triomes in the mana base, which may or may not be correct. It could be possible reworking to go up to 26 or 27 lands with some Triomes in it, but for today I'm just leaving it how it is and calling it a day. Yeah, I think you could also, I think that's a reasonable suggestion too. You could also expand this up to 80 cards and play Yorion, because Yorion is good with Omen and the eggs and Othakaya, so that's another direction you could take this in would be Yorion Fires. So again, lots of different things to explore that that could be reasonable. Let's go ahead and pop on into a historic event with this and see how it goes. So you played Jeskai Mutate the other day with Snap. I can't find that anywhere on YouTube. I believe that video was labeled Snapdax Mutate on the YouTube channel. Had a few subs in there. Had Slayer, welcome back for the 22 months. Cardboard Tech, thanks for the 10. Sarah and Docs, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Had one even before I went live. Leaf Blade Fighter, thanks for 3/4 of a year. If you're still here, said you were a YouTube watcher mostly. That one wasn't the Jeskai version. That one turned into the Jeskai version, which is why I didn't label it Mardu and didn't label it Jeskai. I called it Snapdax Mutate because partway through that video, we delete the Mardu one and we rebuild it into Jeskai. No, yeah, that's definitely it. The one that starts as Mardu, we play like a match or a match and a half as Mardu and conclude that the Mardu cards were bad. I didn't label it Jeskai or Mardu. I just called it Snapdax Mutate because that was accurate for the entirety of it. Work at everyone's hours a week ago, so to not have to fire as many people. While I missed paychecks, I enjoy going from 12-hour work days to 8. Yeah, 8, 12. Speaking as someone who does 12s on occasion on weeks like this, is it's rough. Hey, thanks GD Squared, I appreciate it. That should be up tomorrow. Oh, I should update the Stream Decker. Thanks. Good call. Am I keeping this? Probably not. It's missing a color, and it doesn't have any early plays to go with the Doom Foretold. This is fine. Bottom Fairy. I watched your Jeskai control decks on YouTube. You mentioned various times the tri-lands and castles control showed a 28 tri-land lands. Can you elaborate? Yeah, it's because of cycling. It's because the big drawback to drawing too many lands is you flood out. And when you have access to cycling lands, when you flood out drawing cycling lands, you just cycle them. So it's like cycling lands are lands that when you play them in the early turns, they're the land drops that you need. And when you draw them in the late turns, they do things for you. So one of the things that makes Magic's mana-based construction so interesting is that a lot of lands, like the Psycho lands and like the castles, they're not just lands, they're also kind of like spells. So it's not as straightforward as just... Stream Decker does not appear to want to post this deck list. Come on, Stream Decker, I believe in you. Shark Typhoon. Yep.
Now what?
No, yeah, Stream Decker appears to be mostly dead. It should also be posted on Cardboard Live. But yeah, Stream Decker is definitely not working for me. I was hoping we were past their new set release issues. They always have some bandwidth issues at set release. Thanks for the 2 months, Ryan Cryptic. Welcome back. Endo, good morning. Doom on you. So Doom Foretold here. Make some sacrifice, notably a non-token permanent, so the shark will not count for them. And then if they cannot, they discard a card, lose 2 life, and I get to draw a card and gain some life. We got these guild globes we don't mind sacrificing here. It might be a little aggressive to cash one of these in so quickly. I don't know. I'm kind of out of action in my hand and wouldn't mind like drawing a Fae of Wishes or a Treacherous Blessing or whatever. Hey, Kind Fiend. Thank you for the 12 months. Let's get your sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. You love to see it, chat. I wish upon a star. Gosh, got to discard to hand size. So unlucky. Rough. Where does the time go indeed, Dig? So, I think I'm actually going to grab Casualties here. And I'm going to cast it. And I'm going to destroy an enchantment along with it. So I can cast a bunch of spells from my hand. Hey Seth, stay safe out there. This is a matchup that's exactly why I... Yeah, so you're saying you don't see... Your comment starts with, I don't see the standard, a relative high dearth of high-cost cards. Well, our high... We have 4. We have four really good expensive cards. Fires also acts as pseudo-fixing. It gives us access to a bunch of go big tools out of the sideboard. Yeah, that's basically the TLDR. One of the things the Doom Foretold decks, generically speaking, tend to struggle to do is a way to really close out games while they're one-for-oneing people a bunch. And Fae with these various go big options on the sideboard really kind of help us do that. As opposed to just nickel and diming, they allow us to go like really big, like you saw there. Like we had both Casualties and the Inspired Ultimatum allowed us to really go up over the top of what this previous opponent was doing. Yeah, it could be. If I'm being honest, I didn't really feel like rebuilding the entirety of this deck last night. This deck was mostly fine the last time we played it, so I decided to just run it again. And the person that submitted it didn't submit it as a build around request. I think if I was to really sit down and work on this archetype, I would probably turn it into a Yorion Fires deck and kick it up to kick it up to 80 cards. Because if you like look at this deck list, there's a bunch of 2, 3s, and 4s. There's a bunch of like 2s and 3s in it. So like turning your 2 or 3 of into a 4 of and playing 80 cards isn't that difficult. We've not played any Arclight Phoenix X in Standard, however, there is one in the deck queue waiting to be gotten to. A lot of things in the deck queue in general. Go get it, Mar. I mean, I think your assessment there is kind of super lazy, Silence. Like, we wouldn't want to play Kruga in this deck anyways, and like Fae of Wishes is far from the only 2-mana card in this deck. You're right that like the Cavalier Fires decks mostly play Kruga, but I feel like it really lacks critical thinking skills on your part to like lump what our deck is doing in with the Cavalier Fires decks just because we're playing Fires. And I don't think that's something that you're alone guilty in doing. I think that's something that's really common with Magic players, is that they see one key card that overlaps and they start jumping to assumptions that, you know, everything about these decks is the same because one key card overlaps. And like that assessment couldn't be further from the truth. It's funny. You can tell that around set release, the channel and the Magic community really grow, because I had someone get very upset, like genuinely not unironically upset at getting timed out for the first time in a long time yesterday. During one of yesterday's historic segments, I timed somebody out for suggesting we wish for a card that my deck wasn't playing, and I timed them out and was like, stop it. And they left me a giant paragraph on my YouTube channel about how that wasn't okay.
Trust me, I have a plan.
They were very upset that I would time someone out who had subscribed to my channel. They felt like if they had given me money, they shouldn't be timed out. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I don't remember what their Twitch name was. They left it in a YouTube comment, so they can't post comments on my YouTube channel anymore. Yeah, it was the person who suggested we wish claw for Murderous Rider in my deck that did not have Murderous Rider in the 75. I mean, they didn't do anything to like imply I was infringing on their rights, but they were genuinely upset that they got timed out when they were subscribed to the channel. Yeah, I mean, they were very obviously someone that was brand new to the channel. They probably subscribed without watching very much. Yeah, that's true, actually. That's true. They suggested it, and I forgot about that part. I forgot the part that they literally suggested it while we were playing a Luris deck. The immortal Nicol Bolas will be your end. One of the sweet things about being 4-color in this deck too is that like the Fae can actually cast the things out of our sideboard, which is great. They exiled a land out of their hand. Nah, I really don't care, Red. I'll be surprised if after their giant paragraph if they're back. What's a timeout? A timeout means we remove... a timeout means you lose your ability to chat for 10 minutes. You still get to watch the stream, you just can't post in chat. Oh, that's true. You do miss shillings. Yeah, Stream Decker is just like full on busted. I'm gonna go post in there. Their support channel. And gift sub get timeouts? Of course! Of course! The timeout, unironic timeouts don't mean we're mad at you. It just means we're disappointed because we know in our heart of hearts that you could have done better. It's not, we time out because we care. It's a symbol of love. You're like looking at Deafening Clarion? Or just like reading our cards? Alright, Teferi, that makes sense. Flash deck. Okay, makes sense why they took the Teferi. Interesting. You surveil, you can pick it back up. One of the sweet things about Magic Arena's interface that I always like to point out is that you'll notice when I played that Clarion, I did not play the Clarion with the eye on it, but when I played it, it removed the eye from this one. I'm going to go ahead and play this untapped land here to play this around a Quench, potentially. They could have a different counterspell, but I think with Cunning Night Bonder, there's a real chance they have Quench in their deck. Ashiok's Erasure. Okay, that's sweet. That's one that gets made cheaper by Cunning Nightbonder. It's really bad against our Doom Foretold, though. Yes, that is accurate. I feel like we probably gotta be favored as this goes along. Like, their deck has a bunch of creatures, and it depends on, like, what kind of card advantage they have at their top end. Yeah, we should be able to just, like, kill their stuff here. I mean, to be fair, the Luris decks popped up and were really successful, so a lot of people are gunning for them today. I'm interested to see. We're going to be playing 2 different Luris decks towards the end of the standard portion today. Pick your favorite. Pick your favorite Doomblade. I think the various Deafening Clarion decks in standard right now really give the Luris decks a hard time. I think the increased signups for this weekend is due to the format, the prizes, seeing it work well. Yeah, probably all of it, Silence. I kind of expect the events right after a set release to be the most popular. I think that's like the natural high point for Magic's hype. I think it's to get Blood Operative back. Seems good. Alright, so really hoping for a Doom Foretold here. Fae of Wishes would also be okay. We've got a lot of cards to get for here. Brad Nelson is playing in our event this weekend. So he's definitely the biggest, scariest one. Is Brad a sub? Well, I mean, he's in the event, so yeah. Now, I have the scrub Matthew Bamonte commentating with me all day. Got him ready to go. That reminds me, Matt, we need to set up the ability to play and cover matches between us in case we have downtime to fill. Need to figure that out. So this is gonna get to copy the Sea Dasher Octopus here. No Fae of Wishes or Doom Foretold and 21 cards here is pretty unfortunate. Again, can't play the Oathakaya because there's one under an Ashiok's erasure here. This game's going to slip away from us pretty quickly with the Laziv drawing an extra card for them every turn. That's how Magic goes sometimes. Maybe I want to keep the sweepers here. I think I'd rather have the discard spells. You ran into a bug where your opponent conceded, but you were stuck on the battlefield. Sounds like Magic Arena. Speaking of, there's supposed to be an arena patch sometime today, right? Pretty sure. Well, you have to remember that our sideboard is a wish board. So basically the only cards we're boarding in are the Agonizing Remorse. There's other things we leave in there for utility. It's a feature so you can enjoy your sweet victory longer, right? Excuse me? Alright, that's a keep. Choices were made with regard to my opponent's hand. They've made some decisions, chat. Go to bumping the red-green trample deck. Definitely can, Ice Tiger. Yeah, it could have been they're up a game. They got a little loosey goosey. Listen, we've all been there. We've all been there. You know, we're up a game. It'll work itself out. Farfinder Fox. What a weird colorless creature. It's kind of adorable though. Yeah, one of the small downsides to playing in the constructed events like this is that the power level of the decks that you play against tends to vary kind of wildly. Something I...
Time for plan B.
What are we getting here? I don't have actually anything particularly useful to get. I guess I can cast this at some point. I'm like double black away from casting this, so I think it's just Inspired Ultimatum. No, I think it's this. And we'll go Teferi plus Fae this turn. Oh, I should have played the land. They could have a Mystic Dispute here. If they get disputed, I'm going to be real sad.
I am not this. Let's try this.
Let's just plus him for now, so that way we can block here. Ideally, Teferi's going to make it through the turn, so that way we can cast Inspired Ultimatum without worrying about a counterspell next turn. A little bit of Fox News on the other side of the table here. Oh yeah, we do need explicitly a red source, don't we? That's true. That'll do too. All right, any land tier off the Teferi draw.
Might be a bad idea.
You love to see it, chat. You love to see it. Are Doom Foretold actually not looking particularly stellar in the face of all their permanents? Are we just like Mardu ultimatuming them? I think we are. I think it's just like... Whew! Blow them up. Blow them up, chat.
Don't worry, I got this.
Solid animation. Storm Crusher second. Thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I appreciate that. Welcome to Hoaglandia. There goes my Doom Foretold. What happened to the first Storm Crusher? Asking the real questions. Where are they? What happened? So pretty common play pattern in this archetype you see here. We get to go ahead and use our Teferi to bounce our fires, so that way we get to unlock casting more spells for the turn. Can you bump Red Green Luca? You definitely can, Lucas. Gosh, the fact that people from the Trump admin and Fox News keep talking about how it's COVID-19 because there were 18 other COVIDs before it, it's just, I mean, like, it's on point for their science-denying general idiocy, but, like, good lord. Just the people that eat that crap up. It is, I swear to God, if you're not someone that keeps up on the news, an actual thing people from the Trump admin and conservative news circles have been saying is that it's COVID-19 because there were 18 other COVIDs before it. And in fact, the actual line that they keep using is that they don't understand why we weren't prepared for COVID-19 because we had 18 other COVIDs before this to be ready for. I really wish I was lying to you right now. Genuinely wish what I was saying was not true. But it is. And again, you have to understand that, like, there are really no good faith conservatives left. There aren't. Anybody, listen, the Democratic Party has a lot of problems with it, but the first thing that needs to happen is we need to just get rid of the GOP. And then, like, maybe once that happens, we can, like, start an actual progressive party that's not the DNC. But, like, the level of disconnect from actual reality and fact that the DNC has is just, that the Republican Party has is just unreal. Just science-denying bigots, all of them. And maybe you're a conservative out there who's watching this and you're upset hearing me say that. And maybe you're not a science-denying bigot personally, but at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you're not a science-denying bigot, because if you're voting for science-denying bigots, you might as well be. That's what you're enabling. Gunmetal Dragon, thanks for the third of a year. Your voices. Your actions speak louder than your words, and even if you say you're not a bigot and you believe science and the scientists, every time you cast a ballot for people that don't act that way, your actions are speaking louder than your words. What am I drinking? Bottle of water. I mean, and just for the record, one of the problems with, it's kind of like when people get upset with timeouts here. It's like, it doesn't make you a bad person to be misinformed. It doesn't make you a bad person to not understand the nuance and the details the first time you've heard of something. What does make you a bad person and does make you a bad faith actor is if after it's been explained to you why this isn't true and what the science actually says, if you double down on your wrong interpretation and continue to put it forward as correct. Therein lies the problem. Being wrong is something that happens to everyone all of the time. Nobody is right 100% of the time. The problem is when people are wrong and then they double down on their incorrectness at the cost of people's lives. What? Okay, here's your, let me call Just Kenneth. Are we also responsible for the terrible decision of the establishment? Call. Give me examples. Because guess what? The terrible things that the establishment Democrats are doing that I don't agree with aren't remotely fucking comparable to the things the GOP are doing. Not even remotely comparable. You're right. I don't agree with everything the Democrats that take campaign money from billionaires do. I don't. I was a Sanders supporter for a reason. But to even compare them remotely is a GOP talking point. To imply that they are remotely the same is complete nonsense, not founded in reality. Because you're right. I don't agree with everything they do. But to just even say that it's remotely comparable to forcing people to go out and vote during a pandemic and the racism that they put forward and all the other crap, no. Full stop. Stop it. They're not even remotely comparable. Double Fae of Wishes here is great. We get to go ahead and grab a Nicol Bolas and play it. And those types of arguments where it's like, well, what about the corporate Dems? Those arguments serve to minimize the actual terrible things that the GOP have enabled. Thanks, Therapy. And thanks, Elendar, for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome. I agree we need a left-leaning actual progressive party in this country, and that the corporate Democrats don't represent my progressive values in large part. But I also understand reality, and we need to, stop the literal fascism that the GOP has full-on spiraled into before we can even push for that. I think we're probably done here. Opponents missed enough land drops. They just haven't had lands.
I outsmarted you eons ago.
Pound sand, Kenneth. I like how you engaged in bad faith, and then when I called you out on it, you still didn't address my point. What you did there is forwarding what the GOP wants you to do. And again, it's focusing on not the facts It's focusing on vague things that aren't based in reality. So pound sand. You wanna make the bad faith comparison that they're similar, and then I ask you to be specific, and you can't be specific, give me more Jake Veneralities? Bugger off. Look at that, chat. I told that person off and I managed not to swear. I'm really proud of myself. I'm really proud of myself. I don't think I would have been able to do that once upon a time. Life is not black and white. Life is varying shades of gray. Bugger is considered a swear word in some places. Nah, I'm gonna get away with bugger, okay? I'm gonna say bugger off. Is censored on Roblox. Not here. Listen. In America, that is not a swear word, and I get to use it here. Sean Bruno, thanks for the 20 months. Welcome back. I dropped it at the beginning. The second telling off, I didn't. You're right. I did swear at the beginning. Literally, the last definition there in the thing that just linked, trying to tell me bugger is a swear. Bugger off means get lost is the last definition there. It means get lost. That is the way in which I am using it. Something I was thinking about. That's really kind of. I don't think I want to play this tonight to discard. They can also have a counterspell up here. Did you know, chat? You probably wouldn't know this from looking at me or listening. You probably wouldn't know this from listening to me talk recently. But I've never voted for a Democrat in a presidential election. Would you believe that? 2016 was the first time I ever voted in a presidential election, and I voted for a third party because I didn't care and I didn't think it mattered.
If you show remorse, I'll show.
And before 2016, I just didn't vote, chat. I grew up in a conservative household and heard the same awful lines of nothing matters, and they're all the same, and all those other terrible nonsense arguments that you hear. No, I didn't vote for Trump. I have eyes in my head. And a brain. If I'm also being honest, part of the reason, well, I wasn't super well informed in 2016. Part of the reason why I voted for a third party for president was that my vote counted for Hillary Clinton. I lived in a safe, Illinois is a safe blue all or none state. So like, if I'm being realistic, I understood how the system worked to a degree. My ballot was effectively counted for Hillary Clinton because the Electoral College is a sham, and I can say that whether or not it was benefiting a Democrat or a Republican. It doesn't matter who it benefits. The Electoral College is an awful sham that shouldn't exist. I will still be voting for Biden this year because I genuinely understand more than I understood in 2016. But, you know. Alright, I believe we have died. I believe we have died. Hey, Ephemeral, thanks for the 14 months. Welcome back. Three sweepers, 3 agonizing remorse, click submit. Hoots or next open is the command for whatever the upcoming tournament is. However, this current event is full. We hit 256 slots last night. Stream Decker is currently having lots of issue, Dr. Jones, and unfortunately my website depends on Stream Decker for deck lists. If you click through to YouTube videos, you can see the deck lists in those YouTube videos in the descriptions, but Stream Decker is currently having all sorts of service disruptions. Yes, the event is still double elimination. All the information surrounding the event is listed on the MTG Melee page. Christy, I think Christy and I are going to pick out a weekend for the next open. Pick out a weekend for the next open after, before the Saturdays that we put that on their schedules. Yeah, that's true. That's true, too. If you're someone that wants to play and you weren't able to get in, make sure you're around Saturday morning. I'm sure some number of people won't check in. The Mr. Chainsaw, thanks for the 2/3 of a year. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Why not every weekend? Well, we're going to do it every month. Man, their hand's good. Maybe I'm supposed to take the Teferi there. What flash deck, silly cheese? Yeah, maybe Bez. I mean, if you didn't get a chance to watch this fucking game, man. If you didn't get a chance to watch the 5-color Niv Mizzet deck that we played the other day, it was basically hero deck splash Niv. You should take a peek at that when my website's working again. When Stream Decker's back alive. There is also an Abzan hero deck in the deck queue that we're going to get to at some point.
Trust me, I have a plan.
Even if they despark this Doom Foretold, we'll be able to 2-for-1 them effectively. I suppose they could Teferi bounce my Oath and have the Doom Foretold eat itself.
Here goes nothing.
Assume we're going to see a despark here. They'll probably despark after the Doom eats the Oathakaya. I need one more black source to cast Nicol Bolas. Oh, you know what? I should have waited a turn. I should have just granted this turn for mana, and then next turn I could have gone Fires into Nick, right? Yeah, that's what I should have done. That's definitely what I should have done.
Let's try this.
Well, if you're not in the tournament, you can't submit a deck list, King Koopa. So just have a deck list ready that you'll play if you're going to hang out and wait and see if a spot opens up. Is he maintenance? Yeah, they're zero downtime maintenance though, Maddie. They actually do maintenance really well on Arena. So I'll have to restart the client and download a patch, but there won't actually be a real disruption. Is generally how it works.
This is hardly my worst defeat.
Witness a mote of my power. My revenge will be painful.
I'll protect you.
Man, that's a lot of Desparks. Okay, so I'm going to Granted here. We're going to get vetoed. Tilt. Why is my tournament double elimination when MTG is usually Swiss? Because the reason MTG is usually Swiss is because in a paper Magic tournament, the tournament organizer wants players to be able to play Magic all day after they've traveled and paid an entry fee to be in that tournament. With a digital play from home tournament, it doesn't make sense, in my opinion, to make players sit there and play all day. Feel free to disagree. Normal Swiss tournaments are basically double elimination anyways, because when you take your second loss, you're dead for top 8. So when you 0-2 this tournament, you're just done and can play Arena or go do something else with your day. By making the tournament double elimination, it removes tiebreaker feel bads. It removes players who are kind of spiky, who feel kind of obligated at X and 2, at 2 and 2, to continue playing the tournament for that top 32 or whatever the prize is. My intentions for this tournament series are to basically attempt to do everything that I wish paper Magic tournaments would have tried to do over the years when I was playing in them. Correct. In my opinion, tournament Magic has been sorely lacking in innovation for a very long time, and I plan to experiment with things over the course of this tournament series and try and do some of that innovation myself. I get to be in full control. Let's try and do what I want to do. Like, another thing we talked about yesterday that I'm very... One of the things I talked about yesterday that I'm excited to do is Cool Stuff Inc. talked about the possibility of eventually giving us... Cool Stuff Inc. talked about the possibility of giving us more store credit at some point if this ends up being successful and we hit big viewer numbers consistently. And I think even if Cool Stuff Inc. gives us more prize money, I don't think I'm going to do a super top-heavy tournament. One of the other things I don't really enjoy about Magic tournaments is the fact that, like, 30-second gets effectively nothing and first place gets, like, a giant pile of money. So I think if at some point we have the ability to expand the prize pool of the tournament, I'm gonna flatten it out as opposed to like stacking all of the prizes in first place. Flattening the curve, if you would. Yep, this game's pretty done. Man, weird morning for Historic. Just a bunch of, like, pseudo-control mirrors and flash decks. Does anybody know offhand when HA3 is scheduled to release? Does anybody know offhand when HA3 is scheduled to release? Historic Anthology 3. Sorry, what is HA3? Historic Anthology 3. Did they say June or did they say May? Christy and I are talking about when we want to schedule the May Open for. And I don't remember if they said June, May, or June. Wiki says May. Yeah, that's true. It could be June with COVID delays. All right, please go like and retweet this tweet. Help me out. Help me out, chat. Do me a solid. Hey, David, if you didn't get a sub alert, that means when you resubbed, you need to refresh and send the notification through sometimes. Zerblend, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think I'm just gonna Blessing here. Want to try and find a sweeper. That's unfortunate. I have these to gain life with at least, so I have 2 gain 3s in play. We might die here. I don't know, Jamison. That one wasn't me. So... So I get this Doom Foretold down here so that way we can sack this Treacherous Blessing next turn. Hey, thanks for the third of a year, David. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Whoa, Twitch chat. You're the best. That thing got 30 retweets in like a second. Y'all are great. I appreciate you. Go, Gadget Twitch chat. Hey, Monicum, thanks for the half year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Because I don't want to like pull a WotC and like have the tournament the weekend before HA3 releases. I would like to be informed. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure that's a question, like, especially if you're watching this channel while we're playing Historic, I'm sure you're interested in Historic Anthology 3 as well. I know I super am even without the tournament. Schedule it so HA3 releases halfway through the tournament and everybody has to change their deck. Something like that. Alright. So, we're solidly in garbage time at this point. No, you can tell if someone has you blocked. They don't have me blocked. They often don't respond to me, which is why like I need like 100 retweets to get a response. Normal people just get a response, but I need like 100 retweets to get a response, so they know other people care. I hope there's a digital-only companion HA3 so Magic Twitter has a full meltdown. I believe they said they're not exploring brand new cards in Historic for now. So Historic is going to mostly be just cards that already exist. That's how doctors need 5,000 Facebook likes before they'll save a child's life. Something like that.
I cannot exploit.
Yeah, I could do May 30th just to be conservative about it, but like I'd like to do the 23rd, I think, the weekend of the 23rd as opposed to the 30th. Because like Christie's due like mid-June, so like May 30th could be sketchy in terms of her giving birth. Whereas like the 23rd is probably pretty safe. Tell the kid not to come out before age 30, right? Like, I think if HA3 releases between the 23rd and the 30th, we'll probably put it on the 30th and just roll the dice. But if HA3 is going to be out before the 23rd, I would like to do it on the 23rd. Ultic, thanks for 19 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. If I could choose one card to be printed in HA3, Elder Deep Fiend. I will very likely not be at the birth of my third child because of the climate that we are currently living in. It is a very sad reality. It's a pretty good Clarion. Pretty good Clarion. Teferi and bounce their dork.
Sorry I'm late.
Knuckleblade would be fine. I think the whole Knuckleblade cycle would be good. All of those cons cards would be great. Knuckleblade, Rhino, Butcher, Dreadhorde, Butcher, not Dreadhorde, Butcher, Butcher the Horde, Butcher the Horde. Is the one. Does this do? Have an aura, become attached to creature control, you get a 1/1. Alright. Shatter is perfect. Not doing a whole lot just yet, but getting plenty of setup here. Yeah, the Sultai one wasn't very good. That's like a weird mix of like enchantments and life game. Oh, actually, I know the answer. I want 4 mana Kaya. I want 4 mana Kaya and flip Planeswalkers. That's what I want. 4 mana Kaya and flip Planeswalkers, chat.
I'm known for my excellent timing. I've got it.
The Kaya Ghost Assassin, is that the one? I forget exactly what it's called. Flip Walkers and 4 mana Kaya would be great. Yeah, Conspiracy Kaya. Conspiracy Kaya is one of my just favorite overall Magic designs. Just really unique in terms of design. Well, I was hoping to draw a better spell than this Othakaya. That's why we played it after the Treacherous Blessing.
Here we go.
Yeah, they already have the flip Planeswalker base in the game with 4 mana Bolas. As much as Devastating Dreams has like an emotional background for me, and I like the cards. I played in a lot of tournaments. I don't think that would be a very good add to the format. I think that's a card that like doesn't do pleasant things.
You just let me know if you're up for round 2.
So Devastating Dreams is kind of an offensive card. Well, at some point, we will draw a Fae of Wishes, and it will be great. And that Fae of Wishes will draw us lots of cards, chat. Yeah, I gotta break some eggs to make an omelet, though, chat. Making some breakfast. Yeah, you need to play the ultimatums. The board of this deck is gasoline. Tender Shoot Dryad. Yep. I probably want to hold these last couple of lands now for Fae of Wishes returning. Would you like to see Dig Through Time and or Treasure Cruise and Historic? Yeah, I think those would be fine. Those are cards that are going to end up in Historic eventually anyways. Remember, everything that's Pioneer legal will eventually be Historic legal. So that pertains to Flipwalkers too. That's why things like 4-mana Kaya I think would be great choices, because it's not a card that's guaranteed to end up here eventually. So eventually, all of Pioneer will be on Arena, and Historic will have everything in Pioneer and then some. Well, that's unfortunate. I'm gonna have to eat some eggs, chat. Yeah, Step Links and Plated GOP would be sweet ones. Have anthologies been exclusively non-Pioneer legal so far? No, not necessarily, I don't believe. Hey, thanks for the 23 months, Big Chuggins. I appreciate that. Welcome back. How do Eternal formats remain fun when the power level goes up with every added set and options for suboptimal decks go down? Well, I would argue, in my opinion, one of the big problems with Magic's non-rotating formats to date is that they don't really do a good job of managing the power creep super well. And one of my hopes for Historic, and I feel like this is what it looks like so far, is I have a hope that they're going to manage Historic a little bit differently than these other formats, in large part because there's not a finance component to Historic. Because, like, they don't acknowledge, really, the finance component to their decisions, but, like, there's definitely a finance component to what they're willing to ban or unban. I'm hoping, and maybe that's a vain hope, but I'm hoping that there's a difference there. Huh? What am I bidding here? Probably just the Teferi. It's just the Teferi. Now, I think I like the Doom Foretold's here. Like, with the two sweepers in hand, I'm going to do a pretty good job of keeping their board clear. And, like, I have the Blessing and the Egg to sacrifice to my own Doom Foretold, which is nice. So, I think at this point, I just plan to empty their hand. So I'll shatter, well, almost empty their hand. So they draw a card, and then I'm going to play the second Doom Foretold out, and they don't have anything to sack, so they'll go discard, discard, I draw 2, I gain 4, I get 2 2/2s. And then with all the other gas in my hand, they should have a hard time getting going here. Sure, yeah, and I mean, like, that's just because, like, none of them are actually that broken, right, Savin? Like, we're still very much in the exploration phase, and none of these things are actually that busted. We're just, like, trying to figure everything out. There's lots of sweet things to explore. And I mean, like, one of Croaky's bits is clickbait, right? So, like, whatever deck Croaky's is currently playing towards first on the ladder is the best deck in the format, right? That's his bit, basically. And, like, at the end of the day, Croaky's is a very good Magic player, so, like, he can probably play most things up towards first on the ladder, is the reality. This thing gets bigger whenever you cast a non-creature spell. Yeah, I agree. It's really weird, and it's not even weird, it's just reasonable, I think, how much less offensive this card feels in these bigger formats compared to Standard. Just like when there's so many more busted things to be doing, Teferi feels a lot more acceptable in terms of power level. I mean, I would argue Historic already contains, like, if, even just right now, if you suddenly copy and pasted everything from Pioneer into Historic, plus the Historic anthologies, even just the ban lists that we see in Historic make it fundamentally very different than Pioneer. Like, for example, Field of the Dead and Nexus of Fate are both legal in this format while being banned in Pioneer, and those two are big differences to have. Like, those play patterns being ones you have to consider is a big deal. Gosh, gonna have to discard the hand size here. Pretty unlucky.
Don't worry, I got this.
Ridgeld, thanks for the 16 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. We 3-1 now. 3-1. Let's try one more. See if we finish 3-2 or 4-1. Then didn't have to discard. God bless you, opponent. Okay, listen, I don't want anybody to get too excited, but if you retweet this tweet asking when the Historic Anthology comes, if you're the next person, you'll get to be the 69th retweet. So, you know, head to Twitter and press that button. Chain, thanks for the half a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Scourge Moth, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. What was it? I was watching Day 9 the other day, and I think someone gifted like 65 subs in total or something, and he said 65 is just a geriatric 69, and I just lost it. Like, that was just such a good line. I'd never heard that one before, and it's definitely one I'm gonna keep in the back pocket. He is. He is a very good entertainer. We're very fortunate to have him in the Magic community. Alright, so I think especially... Oh, that's perfect. So, we'll fetch Mountain here on 1. And then we'll be able to curve out into Fires with Clarion. Get set up here. Maltmeister, thanks for the 21 months. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Okay, so we need a land next turn. We get to at least clean the board out here. It was a big angry elf. Speak softly and carry a large stick, right? Come on, lands. In regards to Nexus not being banned in Historic, did you say it's because cards like Dig Through Time aren't in the format yet? No, I think Nexus is one of the many things that should not be banned in Nexus. Nexus is one of the many things that I think is banned in Pioneer right now that definitely shouldn't be. So I know I could play Fires this turn, but I'm electing to play a turn behind because I don't want to take the extra point of damage and go to 3. Because if I go Fires into this, I'll lose 2. And I don't want to be dead to a Spellbreaker here. We are dead to exactly Questing Beast, though, the turn before we stabilize, so... Pretty unfortunate that we were missed our land drop. Or had to Treacherous Blessing to hit our land drop. Nexus banned in Pioneer, it's like the 3rd week, yeah. Just spent $60 on underwear. Being an adult sucks. Underwear are one of those things where, like, once you pay more than, like, $1 or $2 for a pair, you're like, you know, I'm probably never going to buy cheap ones again. Field of the Dead also being banned in Pioneer is a bad joke at this point. Again, the Pioneer ban list is awful, in my opinion. And the fact that they don't reassess it is one of the reasons why I became disinterested with the format. And I genuinely think that even if Historic is like a Pioneer plus in terms of card pool eventually, just the very fact that there will be different people having input on the ban list will be a net positive for the format based on how Pioneer has ended up. Yeah, I agree, Bob. The Pioneer ban list was... If you go back into my early Pioneer videos, you will see me singing endless praise to what they were doing with the Pioneer ban list. And then, like, Theros dropped, and they just, like, full stopped. Well, our opponent's mulligan 2-3. So, you know. What's worse between Modern and Pioneer in terms of... I think they're both embarrassing for the same reasons. I feel like in the course of 3 months... Pioneer did everything Modern did in the course of 5 years. Like, they just, like, accelerated all of their timelines. Just, like, every mistake they did with Modern, in my opinion, they repeated with Pioneer on rapid fire. It's very, very incredibly disappointing. Pioneer was WotC doing a speed run of how they mismanaged Modern. Yeah, that's kind of what it felt like. It was kind of impressive in a way, yeah. That definitely feels like they didn't learn from history and now they're repeating it. Yeah, I have like actual zero interest in Pioneer, pretty much. Pretty much. All right, so I'm putting this into play tapped. I think I'm just granting for a Nicol Bolas here. And we can fetch a swamp next turn. Sure, decks that are bad in Modern are slightly less bad in Pioneer. I believe that. And again, at the end of the day, if you're someone that really enjoys Modern or Pioneer in its current state, don't let me yuck your yum, right? Like, when I'm talking about things I'm not liking or not enjoying, that's for me personally. As we've often said, you know, the great thing about Magic is it gets to be lots of different things to lots of different people. And if you really love it, that's great. Love it. Go. Enjoy it. You yucking is my yum. God bless. I think I'm just playing Fae of Wishes out as a 1/4 here. Just like get to block in. If someone doesn't let you have your yum, tell them to go yuck themselves. Oh, moments before the disaster here, chat. Moments before the disaster. Clarion, my wayward son, there'll be peace when you are gone. Lay your weary head to rest, don't you cry no more. Do 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 do. Alright, sweet. Got that sweet 4-1 finish. Grab our gold and our prizes. You love to see. Look at that. Got a rare I didn't have. Revel in Riches. Wild. Alright. 4-color fires. Yeah. I think the core of this deck is super reasonable. I think you could probably, the main reason why I didn't do this is because I didn't feel like thinking about the mana base. But like, so like, let's say you add just 7, let's say you add 8 lands to the deck. Let's say you just like miscellaneously add, you know, a bunch of triomes. You had like 4 Mardu triomes and 4 Jeskai triomes, and that puts you to like 33 lands. Honestly, you could probably even get to like 34 or 35 lands. 35 or 36 lands. Probably do little something. Something along the lines of that. And then you just like round out all the cards that you currently have 2 ofs to 4 ofs. And like, just like that, you're just like at 80 cards. Maybe we should have done this today. Maybe we should have just done this. It was actually a lot easier than I was expecting it to be, Chad, if I'm being honest with you. Just like, alright, add a bunch of lands. We actually didn't even add a spell. We just like, or added a new spell. It's just like, took all our 2s and 3s to 4 ofs. I think I would try something like that if I were to do this again. Seems sweet. Yorion letting you blink your fires after you play it as your second spell for the turn, so you can then empty your hand is incredibly great. Can you export this really quick so you can grab it? Sure. There's an extra card in my sideboard. What did I click on? Oh, this counts as a sideboard card, right? It was like, I didn't add a card to my sideboard, I don't think. What am I cutting from here? Probably the Tamiyo. Probably the Tamiyo. Yeah, I cut the Despark. The Despark? I cut the Elder Spell. It's unnecessary. Let's see if Stream Decker's working, eh? Maybe think a little bit harder about the mana than I did there. Stream Decker unfortunately appears to still be dying. If you're in the subs Discord, I'm gonna post it in the historic channel. Oh wait, is it alive? It's alive! It's alive! Alright, we're gonna dive on into standard for the rest of the day. I believe the Yorion Historic Fires is up on Stream Decker now. I think so. It was a good set with the 60 card build too. Again, didn't change that much about it adding Yorion. Deck still seems great. I'm gonna do a quick ad roll, like get my client restart, everything flipped over. When we get back, we're gonna play some blue-black mutate flash. Be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.